So yeah, wardrobe change. So where was I? Yes, my last astral projection in Brixton. Yeah, like the first astral projection I ever had in my life was crazy. That was crazy because when it's okay having these ideas about things like this, and when it's an exercise for an open mind, it's an intellectual exercise for an open mind. It's yeah, great, but trust me, the map is not the terrain, and when you sometimes get to the terrain, you find out the map was woefully inadequate. Let's just say that. But we'll fast forward through 3 years of that kind of stuff, and we'll just go to the very last astral projection I had in Brixton, because I've had them since then. But in the last 25 years, like I was doing it nearly almost every night, sometimes multiple times per night, as I said, for maybe 3 or 4 years. But since then, in the 25 years or so since then, I could probably count the amount of astral projections I've had on one hand. And I think Brixton, I don't know whether it was a timing thing or a location situation, as they say. But I do feel Brixton is a very, very, very special place energy-wise. There's a lot going on in Brixton. And I think that's got a lot to do with why it's such a lively place. Because I don't know if anybody, bound to be some people watching who know Brixton at some point watching this, there's probably people who have no idea what Brixton's like, where it is, anything about it. If you're not from England and you know nothing about Brixton, I've often heard Brixton described as it's the closest thing you'll find to New York in England. Now, not having been to New York, okay. But all you need to know is Brixton is a fucking lively place and a weird place. I swear it's weird. There's a lot going on in Brixton energy-wise, you know. I remember whenever I was experiencing all this crazy stuff, I went to Brixton Library to do some research about it. And I remember finding out that Brixton used to be called Briggs Stones, yeah? And if you're familiar with sort of, I don't know, paganism, your witchy Hecate vibes, all of that stuff, you'll be familiar with the name Brig or Bree or Brix. She was the triple goddess who used to be worshipped in these islands, all across these islands. And I've just made a connection. Maybe I wonder if that's something like the Gnostic Sophia. Get into that. And in northern France and northern Spain as well, I believe there was a lot of Brix worship. So, yeah, Brixton was a place called Briggs Stones, and it was an ancient pagan burial ground, apparently. This is what I read. Also, another phenomena that does tend to, from lots of things I've read in the past, that does tend to create disturbances in the psychic fabric of a place is underground water. Just telling you what I've read. And then I found out, as I said, when I was doing that research, I found out that Brixton has 2 underground rivers running underneath it. So that could really account for, and like a lot of ley lines followed rivers in ancient times, you know. So it just makes me wonder, you know. Like I say, Brixton's a special place. You could literally see anything happening any day. It was that type of a place. So I had this astral projection. This was the last proper astral projection I had. And as I said, I've had a handful since then. But what's different since I've left Brixton, and I don't know whether this is the energy from Brixton that was making it this stable to do astral projection when I was in Brixton, whereas it wasn't stable when I left Brixton. Or maybe it was my head. I don't know. It's totally... I have no fucking clues what, you know. I can only tell you what I experienced. I've analysed the whole thing for years myself, trying to work it out. And yeah, I've had insights. You know, but largely it's still a mystery to me. All of it. But like I say, whenever I was outside of Brixton and I tried to not tried to astrally project, because sometimes it just happened involuntarily. It just, wow, I'm out. As soon as I had the when I was away from Brixton, as soon as I realised, holy shit, I'm out. As soon as I had that thought, it was disappearing. It was like sand running through my fingers. I was struggling to hold on to the astral projection, or I was being pulled back. Whereas in Brixton, that never happened. Ever. It was solid, stable, a whole other reality just there waiting to be tapped into. And it was like, I didn't ever experience that feeling of, oh my God, it's slipping away from me as soon as I realised I was out. It was, yeah, you're good, mate. Don't worry. Fly. Do your shit. So I did. And this particular time, I remember flying over, for the first part of it, I was flying over all of these beautiful landscapes, like fairy book, like, I don't know, like kids' fairy books type landscapes. Like even the fields and the houses all seemed to be like happy and rounded and, you know, there was forests. I was flying crazy through the forest, like pulling off aerial acrobatics that are just, you know, I would give any swallow or swift a good run for their money, put it that way. And if I was flying past a tree, I would strip the branches of the leaves and stuff, and I could even feel it in my hand, which is bizarre, because if it's astral, it wasn't solid, but I was feeling it, but I was there as well. But see what I mean? Questions. So anyway, I'm flying and I'm loving this landscape. It's just gorgeous. It's just green. It's just fairy tale. It's like, you know, and then I noticed as I'm going further and further away, it's getting more and more bare the further I go. And I'm clocking this and thinking, okay, bit weird, but it was nicer back there. I don't know where I am now. And I kept going. And it kept getting more and more bare. Until I reached this place that looked like it had been absolutely devastated by fire. The trees were all scorched. The ground was scorched. Like the trees were like half stumps that were blackened and things like that. You know, it wasn't... I can't remember if there was smoke rising. I can't really remember. But it was like fucking Mordor. Do you know what I mean? Compared to the Shire. It was like that. And the sheer lack of life there, because nothing was alive there. It was like I was the only thing there that was alive. And it started to, I wouldn't say scare me, necessarily, but it started to make me think, holy shit, am I going too far? Am I, like, what's going on here? As soon as I had that thought, like, bang, like that, I found myself totally enveloped by darkness. Like someone had just thrown a blanket around me. And it wasn't like a dead darkness. It was conscious. It was like an entity rather than just a blackness. It was an actual dark entity. Yeah. Conscious. It seemed to know I was there, and I can't say what it was. Have no clue. It was just dark, just blackness. It had no features. It was nebulous. It was, but I couldn't touch it. It wasn't tangible in that way. Whatever it was, something deep inside my soul was like, you're out of there, pal. And I was yanked back down the silver cord to my body in a fucking heartbeat. It was like, I don't know why. I don't know if that was like just an involuntary reaction, or I was under like threat from something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't get time to stay there long enough to examine the whole situation to find out what it was, or even, But I've read about these things in the astral realm called flyers. And that seems to be what, like, from the description I've read of what a flyer is, that seems to be what I met at this place. Time is coming up again, so yeah, I have to keep my eye on this. Another 3 minutes. So yeah. Now, I don't know, like I say, I don't know if what that did, if it did anything, but I've never had another proper astral projection since. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of that thing or because of I'm not in Brixton. Maybe there's special places on the earth where the energies are such that you can, or maybe the energies are such that if the energies are right within you, doesn't matter where you go, you can do it anywhere. I suspect that could be true too. But I'm clueless. I do know, like, there was a certain level of purity I had in Brixton that I don't have now. In terms of, like, I had beginners, the open mind of a beginner in a way. My own experiences could maybe be, I'm trying to match now to then, and I'm not the same person. And it's a deep one to get into, that side of things, but time is up.